40 years of WrestleMania are now in the history books. We have seen so many great matches, stories, and feuds, but which are the very best? Today, myself and Sean Ross Sapp are here to pick our very favorite, most favorite WrestleMania matches. Sean, when I invited you here to do this video, how was the process of picking your matches? Like, was it easy or hard?
It was hard to remember sometimes. Like, I mean, I've done really well at like Survival Series, Quizlemania, and stuff like that because I've maintained a lot of the Fightful resources over the years. And one of the things that I've maintained the resources on is a thing we have called all-time WrestleMania results, where you can go to one page and it's got every result of every WrestleMania ever. You don't have to go through. So that helped me remember a little bit, and it also helped jog my memory. But yeah, there were a few shows where I was like, I didn't like any matches on this show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kinda how I felt too, because I kept my notes from, like, when I went back and rewatched WrestleMania last year, all of the Manias last year, so it kind of
Yeah.
made it easy, but I kind of messed myself up because what I did was for the first few WrestleManias, I put my favorite match and my least favorite match, so for the first few ones, I was
Ah,
like, "Oh, perfect," but then, like, after WrestleMania 5, I had nothing, so I had to go back and, like, read my notes, remember what I remember from certain manias and like how I felt about certain things. So there were some that I'm like, easy. I know this one right away. And then there were some where I'm like, oh, this one's a little bit of a challenge. So I'm
sure.
curious to see where we land on with this. And of course, for those of you watching, we want to get your answers in the comments section below. But this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to go through it. Some will just speed through, some, who knows, maybe it'll be interesting. We'll see. But let's go ahead and start this. Here we go. WrestleMania 1. Sean, what's your answer?
Are we doing this at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. Historical purposes only.
Okay, okay.
Historical purposes. There weren't a lot of good matches on this show, but I go Hogan, Mr. T, Piper, Orndorff.
Mine, Tito Santana, the Executioner. It was pretty fun. All right, here we go. Number 2, go.
This is a quality thing. Bulldogs versus Dream Team is one of the only good matches on this show. And it
Mine
main
was the
evented kind of.
story. Mine was the story between Macho Man and George the Animal Steel. I thought it was hilarious.
That's pretty good. I don't dislike that.
Here we go. WrestleMania
Oh,
3.
come on. Come
I know.
on,
I was going to say
Steamboat
we have to
Savage.
have the same answer on this one.
Yeah, which I mean, it's so funny because a match like that today, we see matches like of that quality all the time now, but especially back then, boy, they absolutely killed it.
All right, WrestleMania 4.
I go,
Oh,
s- I
oh, we're
go,
so different in some of these.
yeah, I go Savage DiBiase, historical element of it. I think it was the finals of the tournament. Because I mean, so many of these matches were really short or DQs or countouts, and there was like 15 matches back then. It was so ridiculous.
I felt like the earlier WrestleManias were a lot easier to pick because, again, some of those matches were so short, and the ones that were good really stood out.
It's baffling how many countouts and DQs and all that stuff there were back then too, because today that just does not fly on pay-per-view. But back then it happened so much. Like there were some shows where I looked at and I was like, there are no good matches, and the only good match was a DQ. And I immediately throw that out.
Exactly. All right, here we go. WrestleMania 5.
There we go.
Oh, we're the same on this one. There's some that
One
I feel the answers are pretty obvious.
one of the greatest stories of all time. The mega powers explode without a doubt.
WrestleMania 6.
Can't believe Hogan's won 3 of these for me because I don't like his work. It's not that good, but this was so historical and important. A big babyface versus babyface match. I loved both of those guys at the time.
Plus, I also feel like in the earlier WrestleManias, there was like nothing for the most show. And then all of a sudden the main event was like, oh, well, something really big happened with like story or match wise. So that's why I feel like it's easier to pick sometimes the main event in some of these manias.
For sure.
All right, here we go. WrestleMania 7.
Yep.
Yes.
But listen, Warrior kicking out of all those elbow drops
Mhm.
really bothered me. Really, really bothered me. I was not cool with that. But other than that, I think it's probably Warrior's greatest match that he ever had in his life.
I still remember how emotional the crowd was, and that was definitely
Oh, yeah,
something that like just stays with you, you know?
for sure.
Here we go. WrestleMania 8. Oh, okay. See, I was kind of torn between those two, to be honest.
Yeah. Uh, I I'm a Brett guy. I always loved Brett. Everything he did was convincing, but I don't dislike your decision there.
WrestleMania 9. Oh,
Here
shit.
here's why I like Razor versus Backlund, because it was way shorter than I anticipated. I Listen, I was not a Backlund guy when I was a kid. I have since become a Backlund guy. And listen, I know that a lot of people will look at it and be like, wait a second, you picked this match that went 3 minutes, 45 seconds? Yeah, because when the way that he had been hyped up to me, they're like, oh, one of the longest reigning champions of all time. And Razor Ramon said, bump that 3 minutes, 45 seconds, and I'm pinning you. And I loved it because the only other things that we got are like what? Tatanka and
Not done. It
Michaels?
wasn't a strong Mania. This one to me was the
No.
one that stood out the most as like if we saw this match today, I would still be entertained by it.
Yeah, that I could definitely say. That one's probably the one that ages best, yeah.
Here we go. WrestleMania 10.
This one was tough, but still Razor HBK.
I know, because I was like, okay, like the other one that I was obviously going to go with was Brett and Owen,
Brett and Owen.
but I just can't. I have to pick this one. This one's the one that I go back and rewatch multiple times. And I still remember the first time I watched this match. So for that reason, like it's got to be this one here.
Gotta be, and it started an incredible run.
Here we go. WrestleMania 11.
Yes!
Oh, we're
This
matching.
showed how good Diesel could work with the right dance partner. He and HBK had such incredible chemistry. I loved it. I still think it should have been the main event over Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam.
Overall, I didn't think this was a very strong Mania
It
at
wasn't.
all. So I feel like this one on any other card, I probably wouldn't have picked, but on this card, I picked it.
Yeah,
All right, here we go. WrestleMania 12.
this one's gonna surprise people.
Oh, okay. So what made you pick that one instead of HBK and Brett?
Because as a kid, like, I love HBK and Brett. Listen, I got ADHD. 60 minutes was a lot for me, and I liked the story of it, and those are 2 of my favorite guys, but this was, to me as a kid, the irresistible force versus the immovable object. That's what this was, and seeing Taker get jackknifed and kick out of it, I was like, "Oh my god," because those were the 2 colossuses that I wanted to see clash the most.
The boyhood dream comes true. So I got to go with HBK and Brett
Al
there.
Also, Piper and Goldust was up there for me because
Dude,
of
I was gonna pick it, like, but then I was like, wait, no, I can't because it was fucking
they were
fun.
24 years
Honestly.
ahead of their time with cinematic stuff. And
Yeah.
to me, this was one of the first WrestleManias that was a super card. Like you had Warrior crushing Triple H, but you had Diesel Taker, you had Piper out of retirement to face Goldust, you had Michaels and Bret Hart, and then they were like, "Who else do we have that's over?" And they put like Bulldog, Owen, Vader, Yoko, Ahmed, Jake Roberts, all in one match too. I thought that was cool, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin there as well.
Here we go. WrestleMania 13. I can't imagine that no, like everybody would have this answer. One of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all freaking time, with the greatest storytelling, the greatest outcome. It just checked all of the boxes, you
By
know?
far, one of the easiest decisions.
WrestleMania 14.
Ooh, listen, we're way off here.
Oh, we
I
are.
love the dumpster match. I
That
love
was
the
fun too.
mayhem,
Yeah,
and
that
you're
was
gonna
fun.
realize that in
Yeah,
the Attitude Era, I loved car crashes and I loved mayhem, and that's what I looked for. I wanted something different.
I feel you. All right, here we go. WrestleMania 15.
Mm,
Where are you going with? Ah!
I'm a combat sports fan. I wrote about this. It's near and dear to my heart. It was the perfect ending to me because even as a kid, I watched that Brawl for All and I was like, man, these guys suck. And then
Yeah.
I saw them put him in there against a boxer and I said, that's what happens. So that's what I actually enjoyed more. I mean, again, this whole era, this like 6-year stretch, I just loved chaos and car crashes.
I feel you on that. Here we go. WrestleMania 16. Yeah, we're matching. Woo! This
Edge and
was like
Christian were my favorites.
yes. I feel like this was so like this was around the period that I started watching wrestling. Like this was finally where I came in. So like every other WrestleMania before this, I watched on like replay. I didn't watch in real time. And this even WrestleMania 16 I didn't watch in real time. Because I was too little to go to the show. They didn't take me. It was in my backyard and I couldn't go. But when I rewatched it, once I got to actually watch it, this was this was my era here. Like this is where I really started to become like a fan.
Yeah, and that's when I started to feel rewarded by the athleticism I was seeing on the screen, and it stuck with me.
Here we go. One of the most beloved WrestleManias of all time, number 17. Yeah, we're twins again. I don't know
Look
how
at
you
this.
don't pick this match. How do you not pick this match? Like
I
this
thought this
was
one was the
the
best
best.
one. Yeah,
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. And there
without
was
a
some
doubt, the
really
best
great
one.
decisions that you could have gone with it, but this one was the best for
Our
sure.
matching is gonna end here.
Oh God, here we go. WrestleMania 18. I only chose this one for the moment, to be honest. Just
I
the
chose this
era.
one. I chose this one or these ones for the moments as well.
Oh
I
my
loved
God.
I
Yeah.
loved all the
Yeah.
hardcore title shenanigans, like Molly with the pan and all that stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
I I thought that added such great variety to this show that had, such important things as my camera goes out of focus, that had such important things on it. I thought it was cool to add some comedy and some like entertaining and fun to it as well. So I'm glad that they did that. And I always look on that very fondly.
WrestleMania 19.
Ooh, look at
Oh,
that.
okay. See, like, I remember really being into the storyline with Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho, but for me, match-wise, it was Brock and Angle. But, like, obviously, like, when we saw Brock doing the shooting star press, it didn't go the way that we thought it would. But goddamn, did I jump out of my seat when I saw that.
To me, the story of this did it. It really was a passing of the torch in some ways, and then Jericho just reinforcing that he was a little shithead at the end worked really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I love the story of it. Here we go. Halfway through WrestleMania 20.
Oh, okay.
Nice,
I love the
nice.
Christian and Jericho pick. That was a great swerve at the end. I go Eddie Angle. I can't go the main event. I can't in good conscience pick anything that he's involved in. So
Yeah, I know. That honestly was one of my favorite matches of the night, but I felt the same way. So I kind of went with my second on this
I
one.
feel gross. I feel gross.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
rewatched one of his matches since that happened, and it was a reader request, and I was like, never again. Not doing that
It's too
again.
hard. But also with this one in particular, the Christian Jericho, I'd mentioned the story that I loved last year with Jericho and HBK. Same thing this year. I loved this
Yes.
story. I was so invested in it. It was like kid Denise was very invested in that love story. All right, here we go. WrestleMania 21. Yes.
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 This is the
Hell
one.
yeah.
This is the one. My God.
I
Uh,
remember watching this match and thinking it was never going to end because I had no idea who would actually stay down for a 3 count.
yeah. I mean, I saw this and I was like, okay, because this was the brand split era. And this was like the preeminent brand split match, is what this was. I was like, okay, the top athletic dog from Raw, the top athletic dog from SmackDown, that's what you go with. And they completely delivered. And this honestly, I think that's what made the super match in WWE as well. What made them go, okay, sometimes we just got to put on an absolute slapper.
WrestleMania 22.
Oh, Denise.
I was gonna say we gotta be twins on this one. Yes, thank goodness. This one, dude, going back and rewatching this one, I was like literally acting like I'd never seen it before. It still got that rise out of me, like if I was watching it for the first time.
It really solidified Edge as like a top guy, even though I think he had already won the title at this point, but still the spear through the table, that set it up. That showed you, okay, he is everything that he says he is.
WrestleMania 23. Oh, you know what? I got into an argument with this one last night actually. I was sharing my picks with my husband and he was like Taker Batista was better. But when I rewatched this WrestleMania, I went with John Cena and Shawn Michaels because I was looking at this match and this was the match that to me was kind of like watching it in hindsight again, knowing everything that John Cena did, what Shawn Michaels meant to WrestleMania. I felt like this was one of John Cena's biggest victories. And so, especially for a Mania, so for me, like this one really hit.
I felt like Batista and Undertaker went out with something to prove because they weren't main eventing, and they're like, okay, we're going to show you. And that's what they did.
WrestleMania 24. Yeah, because of the moment. I don't feel like you can go a
Stories
different direction.
story's too perfect. The story was too perfect. The ending was too perfect. It was very emotional, and nothing that's happened since then has tainted that in any way.
No, yeah, I feel you. All right. That's the only time I've ever cried too.
Come on. We know
25,
we know the next two here. Come
25 and
on.
26. All right. Yo, I mean, come on. There's no other answer.
Listen, they put Kate Bush on the map. Stranger Things didn't do anything for her. It's the placebo version of running up that hill. That incredible video at WrestleMania 26. The perfect match at WrestleMania 25, and to me, the perfect story at WrestleMania 26. So that's what I adore about both of these. I like 25's match better. I like 26's story better. And specifically, I like the video that they made of running up that hill to it. It was so perfect. So emotional.
I agree, man. I've ranked both Shawn Michaels and Undertaker's WrestleMania matches here on this channel and talked about both of these matches for several minutes. Watch that video. I'll tell you how I feel about it, but I love it. And people who've seen those videos know that I love it. All right, here we go. WrestleMania 27.
Is this another one? Is this another
I don't know.
bam?
Oh, wait. Okay,
That's
then. Hold on.
there we
WrestleMania
go.
28.
Look at that. Taker was on a streak then. Like
What are the
obviously.
chances, honestly? All right, so that's what, 4 WrestleManias in a row that we picked Undertaker. No, yours is 5 WrestleManias in a row, right? Where you picked Undertaker.
Let me
Because
see.
you picked Taker, Batista. Yeah, I
No,
think so
because
mine is 4 in a
Flair
row. Oh, yeah,
HBK
yeah,
was
that row. Yeah.
24. But listen, it ain't slowing down. But I mean, at this point, Taker was like 46 putting on the best match at WrestleMania. In the
Yeah.
90s, he barely had any good matches. And then he turned 40 and he's like, I'm just gonna solidify my legacy here.
And that's really what did it. Like these like this like period of like WrestleMania matches, I think was what really did it, especially because they were more so even promoting the streak a lot more. So I feel like maybe within itself is like, okay, well, I'm gonna defend my streak. I'm gonna freaking make
For sure.
people like really build up the story. All right, here we go. WrestleMania 29. Ah, shoot. Okay. I love Taker versus Punk, by the way. I almost chose that one, but I just really enjoyed Triple H and Brock too. So I don't know.
It's given everything that happened after this, it's probably good that Punk didn't break the streak, but maybe breaking the streak would have prevented a lot of what happened. You know what I mean? Like maybe Punk would have been around for those years. I mean, who knows? Vince just ran the company terribly, but Punk was my favorite performer at that time. So that was so cool for me. I didn't think he was going to win, but I thought it was just an incredible match.
It was. It was very, very fun. All right. WrestleMania 30. You think we'll be. I know. I know. I knew this was going to be controversial. I went with Brock and Taker, Sean, for the reason that I will never forget my reaction when Brock ended the streak. We
Well, I'm
talk
never
about
going to forget
moments.
my reaction to you picking this match. It sucked.
Okay, tell me when's the last time you had a freaking crazy reaction like when freaking Brock ended the streak. Solely based on the reaction, I had to go with this match. Dude, it's not every day that you have a reaction like this. I still
That's not a
remember it.
good thing.
I was like, "Oh shit." To me, I was excited to react that way. So for that reason, I know it's a controversial pick, but I'm running with
Oh,
it.
it's Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan winning the
I
title
know. I
in a
know.
classic
I know.
match.
And I love
And you
the
know what?
match. Yes.
He had
But I wasn't as surprised as when Brock ended Undertaker's streak.
the
I was
two best
shocked, Sean.
the two best matches on the show were him, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan.
All right. WrestleMania 31.
Yep,
Yeah. This was the most
gotta be.
exciting part of the show. That and then like also seeing Ronda Rousey was pretty cool, but this was the most exciting part. And it's my favorite cash in, by the way.
That one's up there, and it's an all-time great, not just WrestleMania moment, all-time great moment.
WrestleMania 32. Oh shit! What's up? So I chose this one because I felt like this was the start of this era, this new era where we finally started to see really great women's WrestleMania matches. And this to me was the beginning of that.
Yeah, it was. I wish they could have worked Bailey in there. I will forever long for a four horsewomen WrestleMania main event, but this one ain't far off. It wasn't a main event, but it really showed that this generation was here and they were establishing this and making it something.
WrestleMania 33. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good pick too. Yeah.
Another all-time moment, the Hardy Boys coming back, winning the tag titles. Had to go there.
I like both Seth and Triple H. I thought they had a pretty fun one. I know some
Okay.
people are gonna be like, that one was boring, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. All right. WrestleMania 34. Oh, okay. Charlotte versus Asuka was great, but I had so much fun with this, especially because we didn't know what to expect from Ronda.
I don't blame you at all on that one because Ronda killed it. Kurt was back in action too, as well. I mean, he had been for a while, but a few months before that, we never thought we would see Kurt Angle wrestle again. And then all of a sudden, like you add the Steph thing into the equation, she ain't a wrestler, and they still had a killer match. But Charlotte and Asuka, honestly, after the women's matches happened a couple years prior, I was like, hell yeah, they're sticking with it. They're sticking to the grind there.
All right, here we go. WrestleMania 35. Oh, see, I knew we were gonna have different. This one was a tough one. I chose this one because first of all, like it was the first women's WrestleMania main event,
Sure.
and the full feud, especially between Becky and Ronda, was just like good stuff, man. I feel bad that they were all the way at the end of such a long show, but I thought they went out there, they killed it with the big entrances. I was so excited at the ending. So for me, I had to go with the first women's main event of WrestleMania.
If Ronda wouldn't have messed up the finish,
I
I probably would have thought
know,
that.
I
But
know.
to me, this was one of the greatest all-time pivots in WWE history was Kofi Mania, and one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in my entire life in pro wrestling. Now, full disclosure, I'm sure you only picked one match from each WrestleMania. I picked
Yes.
one from each night
No, you gotta
as
pick
well.
one.
I'll,
One.
I'll
So pick the
I've
one
got
you
it.
like the most.
Okay, okay,
Sean, I make the rules here. I'm the
okay,
referee here.
okay.
All right, you gotta pick one from the
I
two
can do
nights.
that.
Okay, here we go. WrestleMania 36.
I'll go with the fun house here. Just because it's especially now, it's such a fond memory that lends to the creative genius of Bray Wyatt. But Boneyard match, I'm right there with you. That's more my style. But for sentimental reasons, I would say the fun house.
Yeah, I went with Taker and AJ Styles because it was easy to follow, even though it was a cinematic match, and I understood everything that I was seeing, and it was so much freaking fun to just like
Denise,
watch all of this nonsense.
your card looks like it says ass styles.
No, oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
it does. It looks like you wrote ass styles on there.
Taker versus Ass Styles.
There we go.
Greatest wrestler of all time, Ass
Ass
Styles.
styles.
All right, well, I had a lot of fun with this match. It was cool, man. Totally different when you think of like the Undertaker's, WrestleMania streak. You don't think about,
Yeah.
a boneyard match, but it is what it is. All right, here we go. That was fun. WrestleMania
Oh,
37.
easy. Just nix this bottom one. It's Bianca and Sasha for me. What?
I loved Roman Edge, Daniel Bryan. I was so sad when Daniel Bryan said that he didn't really feel it during that match. And I was like, bro, you didn't really feel it. And you guys put on a hell of a performance. I loved this match. This was very easy for me.
Bianca and Sasha is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my entire life. The hair whip
Ooh,
that
that was good.
closed
Yeah.
it, where we hadn't had a crowd reaction in over almost a year, and we got one. Perfect.
Here we go. WrestleMania 38.
This was the toughest for me, but I'm going Becky Bianca. However, I don't know if I ever had more fun watching a wrestling match than the Johnny Knoxville match because I came back. I had just moved to the house I'm in now. I just bought a house after years. And one of the reasons I wanted to move was so I could see my friends. And all my friends were over watching this. And we were having such a fun time watching Johnny Knoxville. But these two matches, this one and the Sasha one, made me go, okay, Bianca Belair is Mrs. WrestleMania.
Yep, I love that match so much. And a night when we had Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. Like, that's nuts. All right, here we go. WrestleMania 39.
I picked these two, but I'm going Gunther, Drew,
Yes.
Sheamus.
Woo!
It was sirloin beef, sons of bitches, slapping meat nonstop. It was perfect, Denise.
I agree. That's why it's my pick too. All right, here we go. WrestleMania 40, the one that's most recent in our memory.
I'll pick Cody overall. The Cody finishing
Yeah.
the story, finished the damn story, made it happen. That's what it's all about.
That's why I chose this one too, because Cody finishing the story was really freaking awesome. Um, that's why I picked it. Yeah, same. Alrighty, well, there you go. Our favorite matches from every single WrestleMania, 1 through 40, the first 40 years. We'll be back in the next 40, Sean. You think we'll
Yeah,
make
we'll be back in 40. Yeah, I'll be here.
it? WrestleMania 80, we will do the next one.
I'm ready for it. Let's go.
All right. Sean, this was a lot of fun. I loved going back and just sort of, talking about WrestleMania, especially since we just came off of WrestleMania. But before we go, please let the people know where they can find you, where they can support Fightful and all that good stuff.
Just fightfulselect.com. We would greatly appreciate it.
Hell yeah, guys. The links are going to be in the description box below of this video. If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments section below. If you would like to see more videos like this again, tell us in the comments section. Thank you guys so much. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everyone.